Hey guys, welcome to another Calibre Wings video. I'm Noah Lee, and we are filming this from out in the nature of Shenzhen, China again. And along the way, we show you some scenery of Shenzhen. Hope you like it. I'm going to share with you guys some tips and techniques on how to weather your own die-cast model. All you need is some oil paints, paint brushes, and a lot of time and patience. So for those who are the first time watching this video, thank you very much for coming by. We really appreciate you. We need your support on our channel. If you can, please hit that subscribe button, like the video, and of course comments in the comment section below. All comments will be read and answered accordingly. Stay tuned at the end of the video because I'm going to give you guys an update on what's going on in Calibre. In the meantime, let's get into the video. There are basically three kinds of brushes that we use for this technique: the applicator, the spotter, and the blushing brush. You can estimate the size of these brushes with my hand as a reference. The applicator is for you to line the panel lines with the oil paint. The spotter is what you would use to put on the lighter shade on the surface panel of the model. I will show you later on how this spotter easily damages the bristles and how you will need to snip off, make the brush shorter in order for the application to be more effective. Finally, the blushing brush. It is a brush used by ladies when they do makeup, and as the name suggests, it is actually used for blushes, and you want this brush to be as soft as possible. And yes, you can actually pick up the makeup brush by itself. The softness of the bristles will help you to spread out the oil paint evenly on the surface. Next, we have some oil paint. We use a solvent like turpentine or even lighter fluid to create the mixture by diluting the oil paint to a consistency as shown. We apply the mixture with the applicator onto the model, focusing on panel lines and whenever there is recessed areas on the aircraft model. The good thing about working with oil paints is that it does not dry quickly. It allows you time to manipulate and achieve the desired effect that you want. After applying the wash on the panel and leaving it for about a minute or so, you can then wipe it off with a cloth. If the oil paint is stubborn on your surface, you can use the solvent that you have used to dilute the solution, dab a little bit on the cloth, and that would easily remove excess oil paints for you. Here we see a clear comparison between the model before the wash and after the wash. You will notice that there are some areas where it is hard to get into to clean. You can use a cotton swab as shown to assist you to remove the excess oils. The same technique is applied on the top of the model and then wiping it off, leaving the shadowy effect. And here we have a comparison between the model before and after the application of the oil paint. Next, we tune the highlight color of the monocat. We require white plus blue to come up with a light blue shade to correspond to the contrast of the bluish grey of the monocat's base color. So this is why we call it the spotting tool. We are basically trying to create little spots onto the surface of the model so that the blushing tool can be applied to even them out to create a natural finish. If you feel that the highlight is not enough, you can go ahead to add more spotting. There is no right or wrong in weathering, and you can create the colors and effect and highlights to your liking. The idea of this step is to highlight the surface of the model so that there's a contrast that is clear to see. Again, we have a comparison between the model that has only the wash and the model that has the highlights applied. The difference is clear. We carry on applying the highlights of spotting onto the wing. The cloth is there to help us remove excess oils. We do not want too much oil to be on this step. We want the oils to be as light as possible. As you do more, you will notice and adjust the amount of oils accordingly. Having too much oils is never good because you don't want clumps on your model. You want the effect to be as smooth and thin as possible. You will notice that the brush gets damaged pretty easily, and that is when you need to snip off the bristles to make them shorter, because there is no point in having a long bristle to do the spotting technique. The spotting technique requires a brush similar to dry brushing that is short to accomplish the task. In this example, you can see how the spotting tool, the spotting brush, is used to apply the white finishes on the F14 surface. Now we come to the darker color of the monocat. So for this, we require the color to be a little bit darker so that it corresponds nicely. The same spotting technique is now applied with the darker shade onto the darker shade of the model. Another example of how we apply the spotting onto the model. And as you go along, you will notice that the spotting brush itself, when it's dry enough, meaning that when the oil paint has left its bristles, you can actually use the spotting brush to help you with some of the blushing technique as shown here. The idea is to even out the lighter color on the surface of the model on which it's being applied. The oils, as shown in this demonstration, requires about a week's time to dry. So you have to be patient, and sometimes you have to wait until the first layer is completely dried before you decide to add on another layer. Otherwise, you'll be moving or displacing the first layer that hasn't dried completely. Once the oil paint dries or cures, it will be permanent on your model. But before it does that, it can always be wiped off if you made a mistake, and you can start again. Here we use the blushing brush to even out any uneven spotting of oil paints on the surface of the model. Remember that the blushing brush should always be kept as clean as possible, because any excess oil paint on the brush will hinder your process. And always remember to test on a test piece before working on your actual model. Once you get a feel and are confident with your technique, then you can weather your own model. Have fun and good luck! Alright, hope you guys had enjoyed that presentation. So now we'll get to the updates. So we just put out a post about what would be the next, or rather what would be the propeller subject that we should embark on for the first one. We've got some, well, first of all, I'd like to thank you guys all for your valuable comments, suggestions, feedback, recommendations. But it seems like the current front runners tracking up the charts is the S2F tracker. So the tracker is also something that is pretty interesting to me. As a teenager, I did purchase the tracker not knowing anything about the aircraft, just because it looked really good. So the next one that we have is something that I've never actually seen before when I was doing plastic modeling. That would be the Tiger Cat, the F7F, if I got the designation correct. So yeah, I will be investigating more into the Tiger Cat to see the range of liveries that we can apply, and if it is enticing enough, the Tiger Cat could well follow in the footsteps behind the S2F tracker. So in the coming few days, we will be extending out invitation for collectors to help us provide information on the tracker. If you can help us to develop the model as accurately as possible, finally the model is for you, right? We make the model and it's finally going to be on your display shelves. You're going to be the one appreciating it, and it would be interesting if you guys actually help in the process of each building block of the subject. So yeah, I'm going to be getting busy real soon to start my research on the tracker. I'm going to look at ways to make the folding wings something that we need not be a separate part. So that is something that I'm going to try to do. Again, no promises. Who knows, in the end of the day, it might not be feasible on 72 scale, but I have a certain mechanism in mind. It will be put to the test. If at the end of the day the wings have to be a separate part, then I'll have to submit to them. But I'm gonna do my best to see what we can do to make the wings actually intact as one, and be able to fold and still reveal the details in between. That pretty much covers it for now. Once again, to everybody, stay safe, keep happy, enjoy life, take care.